Okay, how's it going, everybody? My name is Billy. I am an editor for the Fathers' Rights Movement Alabama chapter. Making this recording to help out any new editors that might feel a little bit overwhelmed with their objectives. So, I'd like to kind of give you a general rundown on what it is that I personally do that works for me, and it seems to make it a lot easier by developing my own system and how to do this. And I'm sure that a lot of the other editors, use a very similar system. Um, I think everybody pretty much has their own way of doing things, which is perfectly fine. It's whatever works for you. But I wanted to kind of give you at least a visual show of what it is that I do, and by doing so, this may help you kind of get on your feet a little quicker. Maybe it won't help. Maybe it will help you to overcome the feeling of being overwhelmed with, getting started. There's nothing to it. It really isn't. So I'm using my OBS program to record this. I haven't used this program in absolutely forever. I'm really hope this is working. I guess I'll find out when I do the playback. Um, First things first. What I do is before I get into anything, I have a folder here that is created. You'll see it right here at the bottom right corner of my screen. Let me pull that up. This is the content that I have downloaded online, and I get it all to where it's saved all into one folder. And I've got it labeled so I know what it is. It has my watermarks here that you'll be able to see those. Let me increase the size in case you can't see this. You'll see these two things here. These are all watermarks that I've used from the Fathers' Rights Movement. You'll be able to find those on the Fathers' Rights Movement page. If you have any trouble getting any, feel free to contact Scott Moreland, or you can contact Michael, the lead of Alabama, and they'll send you some. I had Michael send me this one. I think I found that one. I cannot remember entirely. But those things, little things like that, will help you out. If they'll be more than happy to help you. Most of the time, I try to use the ones that say Alabama on it. Occasionally, I will use these. It just depends on the backdrop of the picture itself. You'll notice that I've got a bunch of stuff in here, things that I've done in the past. It's very, very, very much recommended to clear this stuff out before you get started on your next set of memes that you're going to create. And while that's not all that the Alabama Fathers' Rights Movement's all about, part of what we do, a big majority of what we do, is we create memes. That's the day and age that we're living in. This is the part of the task that I'm going to be showing you this the least amount of fun, having to clear all this stuff out. Blah, blah, blah. So boring. Oh, it's so boring. But if you don't let it get too far out of hand like I do, it's not that big a deal. Goodbye, you two. Okay, before I get started, I will make one suggestion. Like I said, everybody has their own way. This is my way. I gotta have some music. Something to keep me relaxed. Spotify, I need you. Moonlight Sonata. Okay, I think I'm ready to proceed. Now, we have taken care of that. Let's pull up our Google Chrome here. Google Chrome is the search engine that I use. Everybody uses different search engines. That's perfectly fine. You use whatever you want. Whatever works for you best. Some people use Slim browser. Some people use the Microsoft Edge and Mozilla Firefox. It's whatever you want to use. It's perfectly fine. I personally enjoy Google Chrome. What I have pulled up here is I have Facebook, which we will go straight to the Alabama Fathers' Rights Movement. Hello. That pulls right up. Now let's see here. We have the online photo editor, PyZap. I absolutely enjoy using PyZap. I use it more than I do anything else. PyZap is what I use for a lot of things, not just the Alabama Fathers' Rights Movement, but a lot of things. But I'm very familiar with the program, and that's extremely important. If you're familiar with it, you'll create better content. So get familiar with something. But I open up several tabs here. But I have the Pies app here. I have, just as an example, I have a meme creator here. Gives you some blank templates that you can use, some memes that templates that you're probably used to seeing online quite often. You can use those things, anything in the world. There's hundreds, literally hundreds of meme creators out there. You could Google that stuff, click on one, take off, no big deal. Typically, I like to try to use Pies app, and by using Pies app, 9 times out of 10, I have to come up with my own original content, which is something that I highly recommend. Original content. Is it okay for you to use content that's already been written out? Absolutely. But make sure that the stamps that are on there or watermarks that are on there from other organizations or whatever the case may be are covered and or erased. I like to call it borrowing. Yeah. Anyway, let's jump into it. We're going to start with the Pies app part of it. I'm going to show you Pies app just because I am such a huge fan of Pies app. I absolutely love it. We're going to just do something silly here. Let's just go father's rights. Pow. Now, what's it pull up? This. Okay, but you go to images. And hello. Now let's try to remember what you've used before, what you've seen before. Alright, here's something I haven't used or seen. Here's something I haven't used or seen. We're going to click on that. This looks like, now this is obviously not content that I myself wrote. And if you're struggling coming up with original content, it's okay for you to find pictures like this and use them, as long as they're relevant to the cause. So I'm going to download that. It goes straight to my folder. You just seen that. Alright. I like this one too. So we're going to, that's nice and neat. So I'll take it. I'm going to get about 6 going here. And there's several things that you could do to come up with, pictures, several things that you can Google to come up with pictures. Sometimes you find a picture of something similar to this one. Kind of gives you an idea on what you want to put on it. So take it. Let's see here. My biggest problem is that whenever I download one, that I'll forget what it was I was going to put on there. And yep, there it went. Now I've got to... This. Oh, yes. I love that. That is good. That is good. I really want that to be shared. That is really good. All right, moving on. All right, so I think I've downloaded about 4 here. Unfortunately, only one of those would actually be something that was a blank template. Normally, I try to do mostly blank templates, but anyway. All right, so I've got 4 there. Now, the reason why I got 4 is that I do 2 scheduled posts a day. I control the 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. You can talk to Michael about times and things of that nature. The way he wants to work out eventually is get everybody their actual own day. We do 6 posts a day. All right, so let's go straight into Pies app. Bam. Now that we've got all those into the folder, I'm going to go to edit a photo, go to classic. You got to enable your flash here, so let's enable your flash. Enable. Thank you. Excuse me. Alrighty then. Computer. Let's go to this one first. Bam. Alright, well there she sits. You can come over here and click on photo. Computer again. And let's get a watermark. This looks good. Let's take that one. Open. A big white blob on there. I don't think that one looks good. Unfortunately, I'm going to use one that doesn't have Alabama on it this time. Just this once. Because it's a darker. And this right here looks better. So, boom. There it is. It's easy to read. Click save. Save again. It's going to save right back to that same folder that I chose before. There it is. It's now saved. Start a new image. Go to the next. Edit. Classic. Go to my computer. Let's find the other image. Boom, there it is. I like this image. I like what it says. Let's find this one. Has Alabama on it. I try to use mostly the ones that says Alabama on there. This way people know which chapter this was generated from. Bam. Save. You can see how very, very simple this really is. There's really nothing to it. And you know, obviously check in on messages and stuff too while you're doing all this, because this is such a quick and easy project. You don't want to spend just literally 15 minutes at the Alabama Fathers' Rights Movement Facebook page and throw stuff out there and just say, okay, well, I'm done now. Read through some stuff, you know. Maybe there's something that somebody has said in a comment that you'd like to, you know, remark on. Keep it absolutely as professional as possible, please. Don't forget our objectives. Understand that we are not allowed to give advice as far as what lawyer to go see or things of that nature. Now, you're allowed to say things as it like in a way where it wouldn't seem like you're giving advice by starting the sentence off saying, if it were me in your shoes, this is what I would do. No, I think you could probably get away with that. But otherwise, you know, just be real careful about stuff like that. And if you have any questions about whether or not a reply that you're about to make to someone is kind of jumping over the boundaries of what we're allowed to do, feel free to contact, you know, me or Michael or Scott or any of the other editors, and they may be able to help you. The person that would be the best person to contact in that situation would be Michael, the state lead. All right, so there we go. Now we have another one created. That's 3. I'm creating for 2 days ahead of time. And I like to create ahead of time because you never know. Real life still happens, people. Real life still very much happens. And occasionally you're going to get stuck one day and you're like, dang, I didn't get home in time to do this or that, and, you know, on there. And then I've missed my scheduled times. And so this way, like if something happens to me and I'm not able to get to a computer or whatever the case may be on time to take care of it, I know that I'm still okay because I've got one posted. You know, like I said, again, real life happens. All right, now this one's a blank template. Let's go to text. I love the text on here because they have the glow feature. That glow feature allows me to be able to put in a text, which we're going to shrink that just a little bit because my goodness. To shrink the text this way, it makes it easier to read and outline the text, so it makes it easier to read regardless of what your background looks like. It has some really cool fonts here. That one's kind of hard to read. Let's move on to like Chancery. That looks good. I like that one. All right. All right. All right. Now let's get a watermark on that. That was original content. We'll just stick it right here on the side. Bam. Save. And would you look at that? 4 memes created just like that. No problem. You can sit here and stockpile memes if you want to. I know there's probably a few people out there that actually do that. I don't. But there's absolutely nothing wrong with doing that. You guys go away just for a little bit there. Thank you. Okay, now then. This is where we start to do the part of scheduling. You're here now. You're done with everything, you're back to the Father's Rights Movement page. This is where you will end the process. Obviously, you're going to use the tag that you need to use. You'll be scheduling, or you'll be writing it in, posting as the Alabama Father's Rights Movement. That's very important. You want to make sure that you do that. Use your name or whatever tag that you decided to use. Go to photo, video, upload photos. Now you'll notice there's duplicates of some of these photos sitting in this folder. One is the one that was edited, one is the one that was not. You want the one that was edited that has your watermark on it. Like this one here, for example. You can tell that has a watermark on it. My first scheduled post for today is at 6 o'clock today. So we'll change that and schedule. Give it a moment. And we got it. One scheduled post at 6 p.m. today. Let's do it again. Oh my goodness. Perhaps if I learn to type. Alright, let's go to the next one. How about this one? Let's take that one. Schedule. Let's go to 9 o'clock. That takes care of my 2 scheduled posts for today. Okay? Now let's go ahead and jump ahead for tomorrow. How do you do that? Also extremely easy. Because we can't always guarantee that we're going to be readily available at the times that we're given to make these posts. So this really helps out in that particular area. You click on that there. We're going to take that to the 7th. That's tomorrow. Go back to 6 p.m. again. Schedule it. That's taken care of. Some nice music going on. Alright. This will be the final one. Schedule again. Go to do my 9 p.m. Now if I wanted to create 2 more memes, I could schedule 3 days ahead. 2 more memes gets me 4 days ahead. That's nothing wrong with that at all. Alright, now I've gotten myself there. That takes care of all that. We're done. And at this point, my next step is you want to use your Alt tab is what I do, or whatever it is you want to use. You use your bar down here to get to it. But get back to your folder that you had previously deleted stuff from before. Clean it out so you don't end up reusing anything that you've already previously used. This keeps your content fresh. And delete. Alright, that's all taken care of. You leave your watermarks. Please be careful. Don't delete your watermarks. That would be a horrible, horrible thing to do. Alright, now that you've taken care of all that, you can start doing little things like checking messages. There's your inbox right there. You can kind of look. Be very careful that if you do open any of these messages that look like they have not been answered. Do you see these? Alright. Make sure to answer them if you do accidentally click on it. I see there are several here that have not been answered, so I will be sure to do that. Does anyone know where I could hire a father's rights psychiatrist? I will post this immediately. All right. Copy. Page. Yeah, be careful to get rid of that stuff right there when you go to do the copy and paste. Sometimes it picks that right there up, and the whole purpose of anonymous is for the name not to be revealed. End it with yours. Boom. Go ahead and publish. as promised. And now he'll have the opportunity to see any recommendations that may come the way from the other members themselves. Alright. Let's go ahead and read this one. Post anonymously, please. Well, we'll do that. Let me go ahead and copy that as well. I will get right on it. And send. Alright. Let's get that taken care of. Let's go back to page. There's usually not as many messages. Samantha's usually very, very good at knocking these out. The messages. She does an absolutely fantastic job with them. But for now, I've seen them, so I'll take care of it. You know, lighten up her work a little bit. Whoopsie! Somebody messed up a little bit. Let's take that down just a little bit. There we go. Let's do it that way. And let's publish it. And there it sits. All right. On to the next. We have another yet. It's been 85 days since I have seen my 5-year-old son or even heard his voice. How do women get away with this? Okay. Okay. I'm going to use this guy for an example here. You can tell this guy's very distraught, and understandably so. Occasionally you may come across someone who is overly distraught, and by overly distraught I mean it might not be a bad idea to, without making any accusations whatsoever on their position, drop the hotline for help, crisis hotline, the Alabama Father's Rights crisis hotline. Drop that to them. You never know when they're actually going to need it. Alright. Timothy Bean. How do I file for custody if my child is in another state? He has filed support but didn't include custody. and send. All right. So now we've done all the messaging parts, and that's really all there is to it, y'all. I mean, it's real simple stuff. Try to be helpful as much as you possibly can. You got to understand that these people are not just here to support a cause that they believe in, but they're supporting a cause that they are emotionally and physically a part of, something that they're going through in their life. Everybody's situation is different, but ultimately it all boils down to one thing: their lack of time with their children, whether it be no time at all or a minimal amount of time, dealing with all kinds of battering from their ex-wives or from family courts. These people are broken. You know, some of them they're distraught, and rightfully so. So, you know, please keep that in mind anytime you go to answering any of these messages, and try to be as supportive as possible. All right, well, that's the end of this tutorial. I really hope that this in some way was helpful to you. And if you have any further questions, please feel free to contact Michael. You can contact me. You can contact Scott. You can contact Samantha. You can contact a lot of different people. You can get in the Alabama chat, or the regular Fathers, or the Southeast region Fathers' Rights Movement chat, and talk to people. And there's tons of people there that will be more than willing to help you with whatever it is that you may need.